we're seniors this year. I honestly don't know. We're at baseball. Baseball thing?
That's coaches.
I swear to God.
Nick. Nick.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I want to understand everything that's on great this morning. Thank you for your participation. And really very appropriate, we have two keynote speakers. I'm very pleased to tell you that our closing speaker this afternoon is Mr. John Gray from Municipal ABC. Mr. Gray graduated with honors from South in 1981. He attended Hudson Valley Community College and soon Oswego. During his career, John has covered many big stories, including the terrorist attack on September 11th, the Post visit to New America, and has reported on several presidential campaigns. However, his favorite stories involve helping people right here at home. John volunteers with a dozen local charities, including ALS, MS, Special Olympics, Juvenile Diabetes, Hospice, and Big Brother and Big Sister, just to name a few. He has won numerous awards for his television work and writing, including 4 prestigious Emmy Awards. He has been awarded Columnist of the Year, honors from both the Associated Press and the New York News Publishers Association, and received business reviews and 40 under 40 awards at Hudson Valley Community College, most distinguished among his awards. John's passion is writing, and for nearly 20 years his Wednesday column and the Record and the Serotonin newspapers have become local favorites. He also writes popular local column and Capital News Living magazine, and is the author of 2 children's books and 3 novels. John has 3 children. He and his wife Courtney have 5 dogs, including 2 special needs dogs. They dedicate much of their time, free time, to helping rescue shelters throughout the capital region. Please extend a warm welcome to Mr. John Gray.
Well, hello. The last time I was in this gym for not a sporting event, but a gathering where people were sitting in chairs with my high school graduation, but also my 8th grade graduation. I came here in 7th grade, and I was joking with somebody back when I came here. I'm so old. I think the first vacuum from the boy house. First one was like $1,000. If your second son went, it was like $600, and I was referring to it. I was like $100 on the grocery sandwich. So it was wonderful. Thanks for having me here on this important end of your career day. I was trying to think what I want to talk to you about today, but to leave something with you. If you want to give a speech, I've heard many speeches. It's funny stuff to say from you. It's was in one ear out the other. And I don't know what made me think of it, but I was thinking about running, of all things. Anybody here on track that likes to run? Lots of hands up. I'm going to tell you something that's not going to seem like it's about career day, but it really is. But I'm going to circle around with the end and understand why I'm telling you this. And some of the track coaches are probably going to know the punchline of the story. You know, for thousands of years, people would run. People were fast, some would say they were fastest. But it's hard to measure how fast somebody was in Greece versus somebody who was in Australia versus somebody in America, because they didn't have a way to measure the time well. In 1695, a guy named Samuel Watson invented the position stopwatch. So now, somebody invented a watch where you can time somebody. So if you decided to run a mile, you can time and say who's faster. If you and some guy, just got moved on a mile, you can say who's faster relative to time. Well, from 1695, the next couple hundred years, the holy grail of running was somebody trying to break a 4-minute mile. Nobody could do it. Guys got close, but nobody could do it. 401 and change, 402 and change, lots of 405 and 406 and change, but nobody was going to break a 4-minute mile. Until May 6, 1954, a guy named Roger Bannister did it. He ran 3:59.4. Didn't do it by a lot, but he broke the 4-minute mile. Front page news all over the world, all newspapers. Oh my gosh, fastest man in the world, broke the 4-minute mile. Now, if you do the math, I'm a communications English guy, so I'm not a math guy, but I use the calculator on my phone. And it told me that between when they invented the stopwatch and when Roger broke the 4-minute mile, all the races in between, 259 years. So I was curious, how long did it take until the next person broke the 4-minute mile? If it took 259 years the first time, and everybody was unable to do it except it was one guy, it would at least take another year or two? No. 46 days later, a guy named John Manning from Australia ran the 4-minute mile in 3:57.9. So not only break the 4-minute mile, he's 2 seconds faster almost than the guy who just did it, who took like 2,000 years to do it. You catch my drift. And you say, okay, well maybe Landy's really fast. That's not true. Landy was an elite runner, but he could never break 4:02. If you were betting bigs back then, you could get this guy, walk in and say, I'll bet $1,000 when John Landy runs if his number time is 4:02 point something. It won't be 4:01, it won't be 4:03 or more. He'll be 4:02 because that's when he runs. In fact, 6 times in the 18 months before he ran that race in 3:57.9, 6 times before that. This is before the guy broke the record. He ran everything in 4:02 and changed. So now he was out, and he beats that his own time by 4 seconds. He beats the new record by 2 seconds. And everybody asks the question, which you would ask, which is, Mr. Landy, what changed? And you know what he said? 6 words. I saw it could be done. That's all it took for Landy to see another human being do it, to say, I can do it. And I bring this up with you today because there's a lot of alumni out there from the South, as you know. And there is not anything that you want to do that you can't do because you slipped up. You met the alumni today. If you want to own some of the pizza shops and be rich, I guarantee you there's alumni who's doing that. You want to be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, you want to be anything you want to be. You want to be an astronaut, you want to do it in NASA. You can do anything you want because you've been shown the way it can be done. And also because you work here. This school is remarkable. This school is the magic elixir to your future. You might not feel it every day, especially a hot day when you got the jacket on. You might not always feel it when, a test doesn't go your way. But I'm telling you, the education you're getting here is just going to open every door possible for you and what comes next. The old saying about, you feed a man a fish, you feed him for a day, you teach him a fish, feed him for a lifetime. It's very true. You're being taught to be those fishermen and fisherwomen. And you can take care of yourself when you leave the school. Trust me. I guarantee you, with sitting here, some of you are going to get to your freshman class in college, that I saw it happen with me and some of my friends, and you turn here, somebody can say, I was doing this junior year of South. I can't believe the education I got, how prepared I am for here. I'm not saying college will be easy, but I'm telling you, you're truly prepared as you go out there. Now, I grew up only 3 miles from Brooklyn Hill. I used to walk home on nice days. That's how close I was. me growing up was I got locked out of my house a lot, believe it or not. We lived in a house in South Troy, which it was a little different back then, but the rule was if you were the last person out of the house, you didn't leave it unlocked. So there were two keys to the house. Mom had one, dad, that was it. Kids didn't have keys. So but somebody was always home. But trust me, there were a lot of hot summer days where I'd go play sandlot baseball here at Peter, just around the corner from here. Or go up here and get tennis balls with one of my friends. We used to play over Hudson Valley and use the courts. I don't really like that, but we use the courts. And we would go there and we would play, and then I'd walk home. And I'd get home with the early ones, maybe 1:40. I had to eat lunch. I'm dripping with sweat. We didn't have an outside hose. I need something to drink. Dying of thirst. I'm locked out. This is pre-cell phone, so I have no way to text somebody to say, hey, I'm here. Are you coming home? I'm dying out here on the front porch. So I learned early on, if you're locked out, you sit there and feel bad about it, and you figure out another way. And I figured out, again, much to my parents' chagrin, to put a garbage can on one side of the house, outside the laundry room, balance yourself properly. The window, the lock was broken on that window. You push the window up, jiggle the spring, which bent it, and pop it out, and then tie it on the dryer and get to the house. Now, I tried to put the back, so my parents didn't know I did it, which wasn't always successful. But that was my way in. And when I was here, and when I was beyond your other schools, and I was beyond school going to looking for careers and jobs, I never forgot the kids who walked outside the house. I'd say, there's got to be a way in. And you're gonna hit walls in times where it looks like you're locked out. But two things. One, you can't give up, and two, you have to figure out a way in. Because if you keep at it, there's always a way to get in. And that really has served me very well over the years. When I got out of here, I walked about 12 feet to go to Hudson Valley Community College. One of the reasons I chose HBCC is cost effective. I did not come from money. My parents kind of had that hard conversation of, we'll help you with what we can, but my dad was retiring from the arsenal, we were the arsenal, so the money wasn't the same. But I figured out a way. Hudson Valley, we got through the first year, and I was then trying to get for the second year. The editor of the paper left, we needed an editor of the paper, and guess what? The editor of the paper was a thankless job, lots of hours, and a Hudsonian, you got free tuition. So I became the editor of the paper. We put in all those extra hours, but I paid for education. When I went to Oswego, same deal. I looked around for those side hustles. I got a job in the cafeteria, got money in my pocket, I was on Saturday night with my friends, but that really wasn't enough. But they were looking for resident assistants known as RAs, and bullies. I didn't want to babysit 19 or 18-year-olds who were going crazy their first time away from home. But I talked to the guy in charge and said, if you can give me a dorm with kids a little bit older, a little more mature, I would be an RA. What's in it for me? He said, you get free room and board. Well, if you're going to find out somebody who's starting to college, food and board is ridiculously expensive, even back then compared to tuition. So that was my way to do Oswego and help pay my way most of it all the way there. So there's always a way, if you try and put yourself in that situation of what can I do to make this work for me? When I got out of school, to my shock and dismay, the world wasn't ready to give me a job. I got out in '85, and I thought, okay, I'm going to basically get my degree. I'm going to walk back into the capital region, home TV stations, radio stations, all saying, oh, thank God he's here. We put him on TV now. We waited for your job. It didn't happen. I could not get a job. I had no experience. But I looked around, and somebody said, you know, radio stations hire people part-time. You might not really be on the radio, but you can do the radio station. If you're in the radio station, you can use their equipment to make a tape, which might take you a job on the radio. And that's what I did. I station on WWCM, which is long, up in Washington. But they paid me, and this is back minimum wage, it was about $6 an hour to go in there. And all I did was read the temperature. First, they let me read the temperature. So if you listen to the radio station, they do music, the news, and I would pop on and go, sunny and 69. And that was it. That was my career. All my mother said, did you hear me? I said, sonny, did you hear that? Did you roll safe on that? I want to hear that back later. So I was doing that. And then when I didn't screw that up, I said, you know what, we're going to read a couple news stories. I did that. And they said, well, you say you want to be on the air. You want to work Christmas, New Year's, Easter, Thanksgiving? Sure. I would love to be here Christmas morning and not be home drinking anything. But that's how I got my foot in the door of radio. I did radio for 4 years. And then I started writing with Troy Record and happened with a always things that fed my creative part of me, and say, the money was never part of it. But I approached the trade record. I said, paint whatever you want to paint. I don't care. I just want to be able to write something and see it in the paper, and hopefully make people smile and make people think. It was never about the money. It was never about the money. That's why a lot of those things came to me, because I was going to work really or really cheap. But after doing it for a while, you see value, you get the money might start to come your way. I did 4 years of radio, then I jumped to TV in 1988, 89, and I've been there ever since. So it's now like I'm putting out 40 years in radio and TV, 35 on TV. Up until when I left Channel 13, I worked Channel 13, the NBC station in this market for 15 years. Up until the time I went over to Fox, that was the first job someone ever offered me. Every other job I was told no the first time. I went for it, I went through the interview process, and it was no. And you don't like hearing no, you want to burn bridges and tell people what you really think, because they don't understand your value, but you have to say thank you for the opportunity, you have to smile, you have to pack that up, and just deal with it, and say it wasn't my time will come. And that sort of happened to me throughout radio and TV, and now I'm coming up, probably going to retire in a few years here, I don't know, we'll see. But I've been on TV now 35 years, which is hard to believe. And I like being on TV, not because I'm on TV, because I like to tell stories. And that's really the joy I get from all of it, is as a storyteller. That's what led me to write books, for children's books and now adult books. I love telling stories. It's not always fun, it's not always easy. I woke up this morning, I had my notes to the speech. I fed the dogs, and it was going for 9 o'clock. And I said, I can watch Netflix, or I can work on my book that's due in about a month. And I'm in the final stages of editing. And I went out there, and I kid you not, it's about 8 minutes on one paragraph, just trying to make it really sound the way I want it to sound and come on. And that's the task of writing sometimes, putting in that time. But I didn't mind because, again, I enjoy writing, I enjoy telling stories. I told a story at graduation here a few years ago. I want to share with you again. It would probably be my last good advice to you before. I do want to take questions from you if you have any questions. I kind of threw that with folks and said that would be okay. But the story I told is about a father and son who lived near a lake. And the son swam competitively in high school. He was going to swim in college. And they had the event of having a lake near the house where he would train. And what the father would do was, when he was very young, he would take a little boat out and he had a buoy, he would drop in the water with a lake, and he would pop out of the water, and he would set it 50 yards, so he would swim to the buoy for that. And the kid did that 100 yards, then a quarter mile, then eventually a half mile. Well, the lake was 4.5 miles across, but the kid said, I'm never going to go swim 4.5 miles, that's just too far. The farthest he ever got was 4 miles. They would put the buoy at the 2.5 mile mark, he would swim out, touch it, turn around and come back. He would barely make it back, so he was doing 4 miles. Right before he was going to go to college, his father said, I really think you should try to do it the whole lake. And he said, I've had this conversation before, I don't want to do it. He said, well, I'll give the boat if you try to jump in the boat. He said, I can't do it. You're not listening. I can't do it. The father said, all right, you can't do it. Got it. So the last swim, the father went out to the buoy at 2 miles and came back, and the kid started swimming. It took him about a half hour or so to do a mile. He got out there, and he looked at his watch, and he should have been to the buoy, but he wasn't there yet. And he said, I must be slow today. I must be slow today. I said, it's up there. So the kid kept swimming, and eventually got to that buoy, and he touched and turned around. The father said, what are you doing? He said, I'm going back. He said, why would you do that? He said, because we've had this argument. I do choose to go back to 4 miles. He said, here's the thing, though. I put the buoy at 2.5 miles. And the kid said, why would you do that? He said, because you got to have a choice to make. He said, if you like the shore, safety's the shore, you can turn around and go back. But what do you think? That's 2.5, that's 5 miles. You're worried about putting 4.5. It's smarter to keep going to the other shore. So why don't you just put your head down, stop worrying about it, and swim? And the kid thought about it for a second, thought, I'm kind of stuck here, aren't I? I've got to go to the other shore. And he put his head down and swam, and he made it to the other shore. And he was very excited he did it. I don't know if he wanted to thank his father afterwards, but he made it to the other shore. And in a lot of ways, whatever career you choose, I know you have a lot of people today, I might always not be afraid to go for that other shore. It's nice to have a plan B if things don't work out, but plan B sometimes becomes too comfortable and easy to turn to. Sometimes if you really want to be a doctor, you got to find a way to be a doctor. If that's what you need, Find a way to do it. If you hear 6 no's from medical schools, keep going. Find a way. Not just say, well, I didn't get to medical school. What's another option? I said, well, try doing this. Become this, get some training, and get by. There's always a way to keep trying. There's always a way to make that other sure. And that's really what I want to leave you with here today. That trust me, I don't know who you met today. I'm a middle-class kid from South Shore. And if you look at all the ratings and everything, I'm the most watched TV anchor in the capital region. That didn't seem possible that was who you were. But I saw a guy named John McCormick, who was from South Shore, just like me, who was John Center. I don't know where John went to college, way that good stuff, but I knew he could do it. I could do it, much like the runner did. He rode 4 miles, I could break a 4-minute mile. If John could do it, I could do it. And I got on TV. And I just kind of kept churning as the doors said, keep swimming, just keep swimming. You know, you just keep doing that, and good things will happen to you. If you do the work and put the work in, good things will happen to you. I promise you that's true. And the last thing I'll leave you with, I mentioned being in this gym in 1977. I wish I knew the Christian brother who gave me a little speech before getting graduation. But my parents came. It was a fun moment to graduate. I like the fact that Sally, you know, I was staying in the same school, just going to different part of the building as a 9th grader. They made a point of making it special. And that brother gave a little speech. Couldn't say anything he said except the last thing. He said, "We taught you your ABCs growing up, but don't forget these ABCs, the sound machines. Always be Christ-like. Try to, whatever you do in your life, try to emulate what you learned here, values in your soul, and deep inside of you, to be that better person. You will meet moral challenges all the time. I do the news, I watch people all the time. I report on people all the time who make the wrong choice, the easier choice. Sometimes the moral choice is the harder choice. But be willing to make the harder choice with those ABCs and always be Christ-like. You're never going to be perfect like Jesus Christ, but trust me, He smiles every time you make that hard choice and say, I'm going to do the right thing. And that means if you see somebody who needs help, help them. You see somebody being picked on, this other person, give them a break, give her a break. Stop. Just stop, please. I'm asking you nice, stop. Those little things could mean the world to someone. Trust me. I write books now. I'm writing a book right now, a novel. It's going to be called Carpenter's Son. It's about the premise of if Jesus came back right now and started performing miracles, how would the world react to him? Who would believe, who wouldn't believe? What would it take to make people believe? And I like to think in everything I've ever read, everything, that LaSalle is in those words. LaSalle is inside of me, and LaSalle is inside of you. You are remarkably, incredibly lucky to be here. I couldn't steer my own kids here. They wanted what they wanted, and I'm never going to say, no, you have to do what I tell you to do. But, you know, I've had other family members come here, nieces, nephews. It's such a good school, and you're so set up for what comes next, believe me, whatever career you choose. And if it gets hard, just remember, you're in the South today. You can do it, you can get through it. With that, I would love to take questions from anybody who has any kind of questions for me about TV, books, writing, anything. Somebody must have some kind of question. You can't just sit there and death and sweat, but I'm not clear as well. Who will be brave enough to ask a question? Yes? Oh, we have a mic. Great.
What book is that inspired you to write your book? The book that you're not going to write.
What book inspired me to write it?
Yeah, so the book was just your.
Not a book so much as working in the media. You know, I wondered if Jesus came back, how would he be treated? And I really, I don't want to say I have fun with that premise, but I do have fun with that premise in the book. There's one scene in the book where he literally walks to a bookstore where there's an atheist who's selling his book, Mocking God. And he gets in a verbal debate with the guy. Not in a mean way, but in a good way. And in that coffee shop, he sees a little girl, happens to be a young black girl who's being teased by some other girls. And he walks over to her, me, and hopefully it makes you happy when you read it. But this scene made me so happy to write, and I don't know where it comes from when I write. I literally say a silent prayer before I write. I say, I'm here, I'm open to any suggestions. Send them my way, and I'll put them on the page. But in this scene, the character who is Jesus, goes by the name of Edward. I'll give away a part of the book. His name is Edward Manuel. His sister is Emmanuel. But he was up to the little girl who was being picked on, and he says to her, you're doing great. Stay on the path. Don't pay attention to their noise. These girls teasing you, making fun of you. And she's wearing a crucifix, not because it's fashion, it's because she believes in God. She goes to church. And he takes her, and this is, I don't know where this came from, but it came to me. He takes her cell phone. She says, leave me your phone. He's like, come on, you're a 15-year-old girl, you have a phone. He gives her the phone, he holds it in his hand, and says, open your Instagram account. And all of her photos are of her 10 years later. She's a vet. She's graduating college. You see, he shows her all these wonderful things that are going to come to her. He takes the phone back and they can just go back to the way they were. It's his way of saying to her, don't give up. Don't give in to all this meanness of the world. There's a lot of meanness out there. Just stay on the path. So, no real book inspired me, but I always like the idea if Jesus ever did come back in 2024, what would the world be like to him and for him? I see a hand here.
This might be a funny question to ask, but I just wanted to know what's the weather looking for this upcoming week?
I don't know the weather, but I think this weekend's nice. I think we're done with stuff. But I will say this, they're really screwed up the forecast on Saturday. And I'm going to tell you what it is. This is the weather man for the Bronx and the young people here. When the weather pattern starts to change, pay attention. What I mean is when the weather guy says Saturday, it's going to be sunny. He's saying this on Monday. And then you watch the news on Wednesday and he goes, Saturday, well, looks like there's going to be a few clouds. And then Thursday they go, Saturday, looks like 3 clouds and a late day shower. Well, by the time you get to Saturday, it's going to be pouring. The weather does that. Things shift all the time. And this last storm we got, we went from nothing to a trace of snow to 1 to 3 inches, and now we know what will happen. Capital's lost power. So that's the thing with the weather guys. It's a tricky job.
How do you feel about the negative safeguards surrounding going to the community college right after high school
Does that still exist? Is that still a thing? Maybe part of it is the necessity of my financial situation, but I think you owe it to yourself to be intellectually honest. And by that I mean, you can just have a meeting, because the meeting is you. There's nobody, it's not mom and dad, it's just you. And you say to yourself, putting aside all the nonsense, what's a smart move for me? And if you can there's nothing wrong with going to 4-year schools. Nothing wrong with going to Syracuse or Duke or Gonzaga or any of these great schools. If it works for you financially, it's what you want, and it all works out, that's great. But I always caution people, if you're going to go into tremendous debt, you have to weigh that with the debt versus what you get out of it. So I'm saying, is the juice worth the squeeze? Am I putting all this time and money, is it worth what I'm going to get out of it? And I'm a huge proponent of community college. I think it's great. I have my youngest right now is a sophomore at U Buffalo. He's moved to what my brother did, which was he went to U Buffalo for 4 years as an engineer. The youngest is an engineer too. Good for that. They like this stuff. I couldn't engineer this. I keep back to this thing. But I try to get both of them, both in Hudson Valley and transferring to RPI, because they have a program where you do 2 years here and switch it over. They were the younger one, the older one had it, and just tried it, and the older one really wanted to go to Buffalo, so it worked out fine. But I love community colleges. And I hate to say to you, it seems good to say, don't listen to the noise, but don't listen to the noise. You do what's best for you. And financially, if it works for you, when you end up, your 4-year degree says the same thing. People say, where to go to college, they say, where to do a bachelor's from Sweden. That's what it says. It doesn't, there's no asterisk. Oh, but he also went to 2 years Hudson Valley Community College. And what's funny is, what's your first name? Okay. I still didn't get you. But, the 4-year schools are picking up on it. We just ran a story yesterday where Sweet Albany is now partnering up with Fulton County Community College, just like they are here. Where they're like, we don't want you to time, start your 2 years there, then come right here. So, I think community college is great, I really do. And they can save you a lot of money. And I also thought the Hudson Valley, the teachers, at least when I was there, were phenomenal. They were, I taught there for 1 year journalism in Hudson Valley, and after they showed you how to school teaching stuff, they pulled me aside to give me the off-the-record conversation. They said, some students come here for good. Some students come here, this is like the last run of the ladder. They are, if this doesn't work out, they're not going to college. So try to reach across and help them if they need help. And I always remember that. And I had teachers who were phenomenal. And this may be just me. I remember almost every teacher I had in Hudson Valley. I only remember 2 or 3 from my studio. Much bigger class sizes, much less personal. HUCC was so good. They were so kind to me. They were so helpful. They set me up for what came next. So I love community college.
Mr. Gray, thank you for being here today.
Sure.
And we had a student ask you about your novel, but I'm a children's writer also, and want to know what inspired you to write your children's book.
Well, I have 3 children's books. The first was called God Gave Me a Puppy, and that one unfortunately came out of sadness. I had a puppy die at only a few months old. It was a heart thing that no one could diagnose, and it's just one of those things that happens. It's awful in life. And I could not shake the sadness of the loss of Samuel, that was the dog's name. And I remember sitting, and I used to live in North Greenwich Mile here at the time, sitting in my little writing room thinking, I think I finally really understand what's like being 4 years old was that. And I never lost my mind. I said, it made no sense, wasn't fair, I was upset, I was mad at God, and I sat down and wrote that book, trying to help kids, but help myself as well. That's how the first one happened. The second was called Keller's Heart. It was based on a blind deaf dog we had in Keller, who really changed our lives. The third was just called Sweet Polly Petals. It's one of those stories on top of my head, and I wrote it down, and the publisher published it. So, yeah, that's, stories come from all over the place. I tell anybody who wants to do anything for a living, if you can't sit in Starbucks, if I'm eating Dave Kiss, my old friend here, Dave texts and says, hey, something happened, I'm 20 minutes late. If you can't sit in Starbucks and entertain yourself just watching people, you should be able to work. There's so much going around. You just sit there and look and sort of, I wonder if they're dating. Is that a first date, a 5th date? Are they married? What's he doing? Why is she up and down? Where are you on them? Just not your eavesdropping, but you're sort of like taking it all in. Reporters do that. There's a writer waiting for your time named John Grisham, who all the grown-ups know. He was a lawyer. He was sitting in court before I was mine. And they had a kid on the stand testifying about something, and he's sitting there waiting for his case to fall. He's thinking, it'd be cool. There's something like a car accident, something was like a trial. Grisham, who wasn't an author, he said, it'd be cool if this kid witnessed a crime, and it was the mob, and they were trying to get him, and he could come to this whole story in his head, and went on the road, and that's how his first novel came about all the time. So that's, stories come from everywhere, including children's books.
Excuse me, Mr. Gray?
Yes, sir.
Did you say old?
I'm old too, so this is charge, right? No more questions?
Hello. What is your favorite book?
Favorite book, people laugh when I tell them this, but it's A Christmas Carol by Dickens. I love that story. Have you all seen Christmas Carol? What's so great about that story that Dickens does, it's such a gift, is, he's a Scrooge, or you know what I'm talking about? This man's leading an awful life, the 3 ghosts in him, and that's all wonderful. He sees the past, he sees the present, he sees the future. But then the real gift from the author Dickens comes when he wakes up and it's Christmas morning and he has time to fix it. I love that about that story. I love the fact that what he's really saying is you can sit there and say, I've lived such a crap life, and I don't care if you're 27 or 57 or 77. If there's still time on the clock for you, then let's go. What can you do? What can you do? It's, you know, I'm going off on a tangent here, but whenever I see someone sadly taking their own life, I always think, I wish I was there to talk to them and say, I know you're in this dark place, you're only seeing this right now, and there's no use for you to think that this could be a better choice. I'm telling you, you have no idea what's around the next corner. You have no idea how light you can strike in a good way, and your life can change. The people you can help. You know, we literally have a young man who was involved in a school shooting situation, who did his time and all that. He's out now, a changed man who's helping and spreading goodness in the world. So, you know, that's my favorite book, because Scrooge wakes up, it's not too late to fix things. And it's been done a million times, so but I always end up watching what's on Christmas time anyway. But I've read that book, and I also, Catcher in the Rye, I know, my young teacher, David Kissick, and I talked about Colton Hawkins. They still read Catcher in the Rye in high school. Is that still around? I love that novel, and the fact that the protagonist wanted to be the person to feel the ride, catching those kids before they went off the cliff. But that's one of my favorites as well. And the Kill a Mockingbird is not bad either.
Bill, I'm Callahan, your own nemesis. This is
Oh, there you are.
send all emails to you.
Yes.
Great artist. What you're just talking about just now is reconciliation for all of us, right?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question. If you had a choice to go over again between a great school and a good teacher, which would you choose?
That's a tough one. I would answer it the way I would say, why did you testify before Congress? I would say, sir, I reject the premise of your question. I think you can have both. You can have a great school with great teachers. I don't know that you can have a great school if there aren't great teachers. The teachers are those, you know that house you see that the rich guy's got on the cliff that's hanging off of the ocean? The teachers are those big steel beams that are holding the whole thing up. Those are the teachers and the staff behind the scenes. And but I will say this to you, one teacher can change your life. For me, I've heard about it, it's David Kissick. You know, I'll tell you, you young folks, a true story. Where's the bookstore in this building now? It used to be right out here. It's down here now. Back when I was around 8th grade, I had written a bunch of stuff for an English class with Mr. Kissick. And I got a C note, which is never good for teachers. Teachers and wives, if notes a C, you're in trouble, you know? So I went to see him, and he said, do me a favor, go buy a folder. I said, why am I buying a folder? He said, go buy a folder and then come back. And I went to the bookstore, he cost a nickel back then. Simple folder with pockets. I brought it back, he handed me a 98 in my paper, and he shoved it in the folder and said, start saving this. You've got, I see a lot of things you're writing, there's something about your writing I really like, and I want you to know, if you keep doing this, you keep working hard at this, you could go somewhere. Now, I was probably 14 years old. Look at the trouble he started at 61. So 47 years later, I'm writing articles, I'm winning Emmy Awards, I'm on TV. All of his teachers said to see me and have me go spend their name on a folder and encourage my writing. And the best part of this is that I don't write about this was when I got lazy and I wrote something late at night, threw it together on the bus. You know what he did? Swear to God, I looked in the night, he circles the whole paragraph and go, you're better than this. And I'd be like, are you kidding me? And I look at my friend John Barry, who's at SME, who's not a very good writer, and I see the same grade as I got. I go, you did. But he told me to a higher standard because he knew I didn't put the effort in, and I was better than that. And then in the next paper, I worked harder, and I got back to that 98. And a lot of teachers here, I don't know if this house changed much over the years, but it has. You do get challenged here, and that's a good thing. Because I probably shouldn't say this, but you guys go out here like barracudas and do a war with fish. You're so well educated, you're so sharp, you're so disciplined. Not just the way you look, the way you're dressed, but all of it, the whole package, and more of you, than the lessons you get at school. You go out there and you're so successful because you're going to be up against some young people who didn't have to do discipline, who whatever they handed in was enough. You're held at a higher standard and trust you, it's going to serve you. Talk to any adults who's ever gone to LaSalle and tell you it's true. might not always like it in ninth grade, where we got in the real world, they're like, let them feel sad. It got me ready. It got me ready. I see a hand over there. Straight out.
Thank you. I just wanted to make comments regarding the community college. One of the benefits of going to community college is if you pick a major, you'll get exposure to the classes a lot sooner than you would at like a four-year college. So in four-year college, the first year and a half, you're working on your requirements, fundamental courses. At Hudson Valley, you'll get exposure to that major earlier, and you'll decide, yes, this is something I'm into, or maybe this is something I can switch to. So really no negative statements in community college. I just have a question. Is there maybe one rejection? We've all had rejection in our life. Is there one rejection that was really tough to get over for you? And is there, how do you work around it in order to be successful?
My thing with rejection, I mean, with anybody, this went back to when I was dating, to whether I was home for a job, just be honest and fair with me. I remember with Channel 13, this is a true story, I was up for a morning show. I was filling in, I was a regular reporter, but I was filling in on the morning show at the time. This is back in the late 80s, early 90s. And the guy who was there left, so it was up for grabs. So I wanted it, and I knew Phil Bailey wanted it. So Phil and I were going for it. And I kind of got the winking nod that I wouldn't believe it. I was filming in more, and I probably didn't go to meet, but you never know with this. We go to Phil. And the story's not going to have a way to hit us. It's still in the Monday morning anchor eventually. But we both went for it. We were told they just kept extending it. And then finally said, okay, close the business on this Friday in May. We're going to let you know which one you got. And I was off that day. I waited by the phone, and the phone never rang. And they go home at 5 o'clock. So I'm like, I don't know what to do here. And I called Phil and said, is it congratulations to you? I never heard. He goes, no, I haven't heard either. I said, I'm going to call over there. So I called at 2 minutes to 5 before they left for the weekend. And I got the secretary of the boss. And I said, listen, I've been waiting on my phone all day. Now, again, this is free cell phones. Yes, I'm stuck in the house all day. With 3 channels on TV, no Netflix. And she said, oh, they typed the press release earlier they're putting out. It's Brandon Brooks. And I'm thinking, who the heck is Brandon Brooks? I've never met this guy. He's never been on the Air 13. I've never heard his name before. So I hung up and I called Phil and said, you know who Brandon Brooks is? He goes, I don't know who you is. Well, he was a late-minute candidate that they looked at and never told us about. They kind of snuck into the building, and after nobody was there, they liked him and they gave him the job. And they let both of us believe it was him or I. And again, I remember thinking at the time, I'm a grown-up, just tell me what's going on. Say, hey, look at YouTube, we got this third guy now. Then you kind of you muffle yourself like, okay, I don't get this now, at least I don't it might not come. But that was probably a top one. I also worked very briefly at Channel 6. They had a man who was not a nice man named Bill Goldstein. He was from New York City. He had a very abrasive personality. He was very big city, slick back hair. I've never seen him this way before your time at Wall Street Gordon Gecko. He had a slick hair and suspenders, and I wrote something for the 6 o'clock news on Channel 6. This is like 1987. I was part-time. And he read it, he didn't like it. And he said, who wrote this? And of course, I looked at my hand and said, it was me. And he pointed at me and said, he's not the right thing on the first time this is newscast. Humiliating in front of the whole newsroom. And then he went to his office, and I remember I'm home, I was like ready to cry, and I talked to my father. And my father was the manager for the arsenal. I said, am I reacting wrong, or was that completely out of line? He said, if you had a problem, you should have called me to the office and shut the door. You don't criticize people in front of a whole group of people. It's not the way that a manager does it. So those are probably the two that stuck out with me. All these years later, I looked up Goldstein before. His whole career around the cliff, so I got some enjoyment out of that. But yeah, you know, I said earlier in the speech, I heard no a bunch of times. That was one of those no's. I got on the morning show, and then when that guy left, I got the morning show, and then when I left, I got the morning show. So it all worked out for everybody. So fine. Are you all warm? This is me warm. You warm? So that, I got a hat for the last graduation of my life this morning. Did you go to the south? I have. No, now we got two. One day I think this from the bottom of my heart. I've been TV those 3 or 4 years before they pushed me in a retirement project. If any of you are looking at schools for communications, sports, broadcasting, journalism, writing, if you have any questions, you want any advice, you just want someone to talk to, email me at channel 10, John, J, Ray, J-A-Y, at news10.com, or just Google my name and my email. I'll be happy to talk to you, offer advice I don't give. And around 4 years, I'm going to be looking for a job. You see what best people say, hey, I heard you speak with Sal, can you help me out? I'll certainly do that. So please don't forget that.
Before I send it on our way, just wanted to echo some of the sentiments that I said this morning during the announcements. There are a few people that we want to thank for their effort on this. Mrs. Cardish, Ms. King, Ms. Gilligan, Ms. DeGennaro, Coach Kelly, Mr. Testo, Mr. Myers, Mr. Chairman, all did a wonderful job setting this event up. So let's give a round of applause to them. Our team members are outstanding. I thank both of those gentlemen, and thank you to all of our presenters today. We really do appreciate your time and your experience and sharing it with our students today. As I said this morning, I believe that will leave an indelible mark on their hearts and their minds. And for those of you who are alone, let me say this one more time. It was great to have you home today. As we walk out today, you will be given a piece of paper, a little survey about today. You're going to return to 7th period. We're a little ahead of schedule. So you're going to return to 7th period. When you get there, I'm going to ask you to fill out that form, survey. Please give us your honest thoughts, because we want to make this even better next time we do this. But also take it serious. We ask you to do that. So what's going to happen now is we're about the 7th period. I will release you by grade level. If you are a student driver, as we indicated before, you are about to leave at this time. What you're going to do is you're going to grab that needs assessment that we have and go to the main office to sign out. All of our presenters, we ask you at this point in time to move to the cafeteria. All of our 9th grade students, you can leave at this time. For any students that might be interested in pharmacy only, the any 10th graders who Any leaders and teachers that are staying, we go to class at this point in time. Any juniors and seniors that are driving, we'll have you guys sit down forward and sign up. Please do not leave without signing up.